Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, he hails from Dallas, Texas. Made a vow that he's gonna, man, I gotta be uncomfortable till I get comfortable, and I'm not comfortable till I get to RD, and he's not that far away, trust me. And I love the story you told the first time, and I will keep telling the story. When he got up from his home, in his office at his home to use the restroom, his boss called him like, "Hey man, you okay? Why?" Because your keys on your keyboard is not moving. And he said, "By God, man, I went to the bathroom." I mean, does that make you feel less than a person? Less than a man or a woman if your boss called you? Doesn't it make you feel real? See, that kicked his motivation in, like, you know what? I got to get out of here. I got to triple up on my work. Every time I do a private call, I kid you not, he'll have 12 or 15 names. Yesterday at 14. He wants to get off that floor, folks. What about you? What's your why? Without further ado, the great Sam Foster from Dallas, Texas. Sam Foster.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Thomas, for that warm introduction. I appreciate you for last night. Yes, sir. 14 people, 14 names and numbers. I thank you so much. It was awesome last night. Once again, all the other individuals that joined us last night, it was just an amazing time. You shared your skill set as usual. You impacted lives. That's what it's all about, Mr. Thomas. And I thank you for that. Also, Mr. Jabri Clemens, putting all these things together behind the scenes. Once again, being on these calls, helping us out day in and day out. Can't thank you guys enough. I'm gonna dive into this information because I'm ready to go. And of course, today is Friday, so you know I'm on the road. And Jackie Black, congratulations for winning. I think I won. And Mr. Thomas, I did receive my gift in the mail. And yes, I got it. I got it earlier this week. And I'm chest opening it now. So yeah. Oh man. Yeah, yeah. Hard work paid out. Wait a minute. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got it in the mail, sir. I appreciate it. For those who do not know, Mr. Thomas gave a gift out last week. And the question was, the answer was tacos. Tacos. It was just tacos, and it's all about taking notes. It's all about taking notes. Follow the instructions, take the notes. You never know what you're going to get. And Mr. Thomas, thanks again. This is going to be an excellent peeking tool as I go out and about in these streets here in Texas. I know somebody's going to ask me what's Vivid if they don't know. Excellent peeking tool. So I want to say thank you for that. And we're going to dive into this information. I got a few people on the call, and I thank you guys for coming on the call, for being with me. I know today is Friday and you're trying to get out and about, so I won't be long. Okay. Last week, of course, was bet on yourself. Bet on yourself. Bet on yourself. This week, if you're taking notes, you're driving, don't take them. Go back and re-listen to the message. This week, I only have two words, ladies and gentlemen. I only have two words. TikTok. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. TikTok. Is he talk about the social media thing? Yes and no. I borrowed it from that. TikTok. What's TikTok? For those older individuals that may be a little over 40, TikTok is a video reel that social media has of sometimes, well, most of the time, celebrities and people that we may know, and they post little short video clips of themselves saying something. It's the craze these days. It's called TikTok. And of course, regular individuals do it as well. And it's a way to get your numbers up on social media and things of that nature. And I just wanted to title it TikTok. And the reason why I wanted to say TikTok is because a lot of times, if you're probably 40 and over, if you're part of that generation, which I am, a lot of times we would say if someone would hold their hand up and they had a watch on, they would tap their watch. And a lot of times that meant it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. Or they would say the word TikTok and you knew that it was just a matter of time. It's for the older people on the call. Some of you newer people may know what I'm talking about, and you may have heard it from your parents. Where is he going with this? Up and down like a roller coaster. Yeah, 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 yeah. But I'm going somewhere. I'm headed to a smooth landing. Tick tock, tick tock. It's just a matter of time. Why are you saying that? This morning when I got up, ladies and gentlemen, I was running my errands. I went to the bank and things of that nature, and I saw this middle-aged woman. She was in a drop top. She looked like she was on the beach somewhere because she pulled into the parking lot, and me and her were the first two there. She got there before I did, and I was pulling in as she was coming out, so she had to been one of the first ones there because the bank opens at 9, and it was all of 9:05, so it was only me and her car that was there. And she had a drop top. I mean, she was looking very sporty, very sporty. And true to form, I asked her what is that you do? And she told me, she said she manages a bunch of apartment complexes and houses for her boss. Interesting. And I'm thinking, wow, she looked like she's on a vacation. As a matter of fact, when I come out the car, I told her, I said, you look like a vacation. There's a hint for somebody. There's a hint for somebody. And I've said this several times on these calls. If you're taking notes, always give compliments. Always give compliments. That's a tool of the trade. That's a lost art for most people. Always give compliments. And when I said that to this lady, you could see her whole world change. Her whole world. She was getting ready to back out. She didn't back out. She allowed me to approach the car. I was able to peek the lady. I was able to give her some information. Then she started telling me a little bit more about her boss and what he does. And from all indications, he's a pretty successful guy. But I started tapping in like Mr. Thomas would do, like he was doing last night. Okay, you're bragging about your boss, but what about you? And ladies and gentlemen, looks can be deceiving. Let me repeat that. Looks can be deceiving. You never know what's inside of the book. It's for somebody until you open the book. Open the book. And the reason why I titled the message TikTok is because it doesn't have to be long. The things you do don't have to be long. Mr. Thomas said 14 names and numbers yesterday. Yeah, 14 names and numbers. And a lot of those names and numbers was gotten in a day. And Mr. Thomas said something last night that piqued me. And he said, you know, kind of indirectly, but he said it the way he said it. So I understood. Well, if you can get the bulk of that in one day, what can you do over the course of a week? Which makes sense. So I say it all the time, ladies and gentlemen. I look at things the way you guys do as well. But the difference is the level of consistency. The level of consistency when you absolutely know what you got in your hands, your movement should be different. Your movement should be totally different than the average person. Why you say that? You got Diane Collins in Australia. I'm gonna use her for an example. She's got 500 points by herself in Australia. A lot of those points she got during the situation, during the pandemic, when she wasn't out and about. If, in other words, if you got to use social media, use social media. Sometimes it's good for us to cross pollinate with these younger people and to find out what they do. So last night I had a young lady on the call. Her birthday's today, 28 years old. You know, peeked her at Walmart, saw her going to look at cards for her brother, her 11-year-old brother. And I noticed she stooped down. And a lot of times for the younger people, the cards are at the bottom. So I knew that because I study people at Walmart. I study movements. My degree's in counseling, so I'm trained to notice verbal and nonverbal. So what I did was I noticed she stooped down. And I said, well, she's either getting this card for her kid or for a relative. So as soon as she stooped down, I made a joke. I said, you must be getting that for your kid. And she said, no, I'm getting it for my brother. It's his 11th birthday, so I'm gonna get it for him. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We got talking, found out that she manages a trucking company and she hates her job. She absolutely hates her job. So I'm saying this for somebody because somebody in their mind is saying, I wish I could do this, I wish I could do that. And then we say, It's just a matter of time. I'm not saying no more. It's just a matter of time. I'm telling you guys, the time is now. It's not just a matter of time. The time is now. Now, I'm going somewhere with this. What if I wouldn't have never said anything to the young lady? That's number one. That's number one. If we go to places like Walmart all the time, this is gonna help somebody. Not only that, but Mr. Thomas and a few other people on the call could testify. Her birthday's today. Mr. Thomas found that out last night. Now, how is that for a peek into? I can do that all day. And this is what I told her on the call. And we're gonna have a conversation this weekend. I said, give this to yourself for your birthday gift. Come on, for your birthday gift. So when you picking these people, find out something about them. Find out when their birthday is. And you could just throw them a nugget. Happy birthday. You'd be surprised when you know somebody's birthday. And by the way, Pat Robinson, happy birthday to you. Aha, I remember. Think about that. It's the small things that you do, guys. It's the small things. It's not the big things that you do. Remembering somebody's birthday, take some notes down when you meet somebody. Notice something about them that you can later on give them a compliment on. This is important. Short things, TikTok. It doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be a biography. It can be a snippet. Back in the day, we used to say, use the Cliff Notes. In other words, the Cliff Notes was more like a cheat sheet. If you didn't want to read the whole book, you read the Cliff Notes. It was a yellow and black binder where you can go in and get the highlights of everything. In other words, you didn't have to do all the work. You just could use the Cliff Notes. This was back in the day for my people that's probably 25 and younger. This was before Google. We had Cliff Notes. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. We had Cliff Notes. In other words, my conversation today is more of a cliff note to somebody. If you want to learn how to peak people, if you're hesitant or in a stall for peaking people, ask yourself, what would I want somebody to say to me? Have a reflection of yourself. What would I want somebody to say to me? If you just got your hair cut, your beard trimmed, would I want a compliment? Absolutely, you would want a compliment. Why? You paid for it. You put some time and some effort into it to giving somebody some money, and you want somebody to give you a compliment. It's a reflection, ladies and gentlemen. It's an even street. That's all it is. Everybody's just human. Everybody has to get up in the morning. Everybody has to go through their routine. What's the difference between somebody walking in the door and an SVP? Nothing. The SVP just was consistent. That's all. Everybody has the same 24 hours in a day. It depends on what you do with the 24 hours. That's all. You don't have to do anything big. Mr. Thomas just told you he had 14, 15 one-on-ones this week. He didn't do anything big. He just made himself available. That's it. We have to make ourselves available to get certain things done. He said something on the call last night to a lot of people. He said, he talked about a lot of times how he would do this around the cracks of his schedule. I know sometimes somebody's jumping on this call and somebody will look at it later. Your schedule's up and down. Yeah, but if you make this a lifestyle, if you make it a TikTok moment, it doesn't have to be long term. Sometimes you have to find shortcuts in the things that you do. Now, Mr. Thomas made a very good point last night when he started telling people he made a certain amount when he first started. And he thought about it. This is what he said last night. And I'm going to help somebody. He said he thought about it. And he said, well, if I'm doing it like this casual, what if I put a little bit more time into it? What if I make it a little bit more consistent? Then he went from one level of pay to the next level of pay. Then he started telling the people on the call, he said, I was making more in a month than a lot of people make in a year. Now, we all know Mr. Thomas not that smart now. And by his own admission, he said he barely graduated high school. Now, this is what I tell people. This is what I tell people. And people may want to know, how do you get so many people's names and numbers? And able to attract it. Now I'm finna give you guys a little, I'm gonna go into my tool. I'm gonna give you guys a little nugget. Now, this is gonna help somebody. This is gonna help somebody. And when it helps somebody, listen, pass it on. I'm gonna show you how I'm able to get a lot of people in a short period of time, names and numbers. Watch this. I literally pinpoint certain things that I know that's attractive to most people. That's all I do. Now let me give you an example. I may get somebody's name and number, and I'll wait to the end of the day to send them some information. But when I send them the information, I'm usually highlighting Mr. Thomas. And when I say I'm highlighting Mr. Thomas, and Mr. Thomas says this all the time, oh, he talks about you like you can walk on water. But I talk about Mr. Thomas like he's the second coming. And this is what I say to most people, because most people want to be inspired. For somebody, write that down. Most people want to be inspired. So this is what I say about Mr. Thomas. I say, look, I tell people when I first meet him, I say, listen, I'll be honest with you. I say, I'm not the D. I was fortunate enough to get around a bunch of people and get in a room. And when I got in the room, I shut my mouth. I often talk about Mr. Thomas and his jet. Watch this. This is all giving praise to the people that have came before us. I said, I can remember when I first met this gentleman, I didn't know him. I said, my friend knew him. I got introduced to him by accident. He asked me and my wife, the friend, asked me and my wife to come over to his house after church tomorrow. We gonna hang out. Then I said, I thought, and it's a true story. You know what I thought? They said, what? I said, I'm thinking Monday Night Football. They started laughing. I said, I'm serious. I said, when my friend invited me over to his house, I was thinking, he said, we're going to hang out. I said, Monday Night Football. That's Monday night. That's what I thought. When I walked in the room, I said, I saw this guy in the middle of this man's room talking about an opportunity. And I said, oh, one of them. So I get to the back of the room. So me and my wife got there a little late. I knew a few people in the room. So I get to the back. So me and Mr. Thomas are looking at each other because I'm in the back, he's in the front. So as soon as he started talking about opportunity, I do this. And this is what I tell people. I did this. I said, oh, one of them. So my posture in the back of the room wasn't backbone and posture. It was like, here we go again, one of them. So I'm in the back of the room like this. So I say, Mr. Thomas said, Mr. Thomas saw me and I saw him. And then he says, I know some of y'all gonna Google it. So I'm thinking in my mind, he had to go there. He said Google. I saw him on YouTube. Just because he said Google. Well, at the end of the day, I tell people, I say he turned out to be the real deal. And they started looking at me. Now I got their attention. Short story. It don't take but 2-3 minutes. So I said, well, what happened was it wasn't even a month or two later when I was on his private jet. Now, this first-hand knowledge now, not second or third hand, and Mr. Thomas is on this call, he can attest to this. I'm flying on this man's jet, right? I'm on his jet. Really didn't know Mr. Thomas that well, but this is my testimony towards him. Watch this, being in the room. We fly to Houston, had an ACN event in Houston. We in Houston, I mean, the place was packed. Mr. Thomas walking around and people asking him, did you come on a jet? Did you come on a jet? There they go, there they go, there they go. And I'm walking around feeling like Royce. I'm broke as a joke. I don't know nobody, but I'm in the room. I'm with Mr. Thomas. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, there's a power in connection. There's a power in connection. Favor is not fair. You don't have to know everybody. You just have to know somebody. And somebody knows somebody. And because I was in that room and Mr. Thomas saw favor on me, I'm on his jet. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but I may extend the conversation and say, well, with so many people that wanted to take pictures by his jet, he invited a lot of people out to the Houston airport to take pictures by his jet. Took us to dinner, paid for everything. Hospitality goes a long way. A lot of my friends were mad at me because I kept bragging on Mr. Thomas and bragging on his brother. Edification is the key, ladies and gentlemen. I kept bragging on this guy. I didn't really know him, and my friends got mad at me. How you always talking about him? I said, it's something different about this guy. What was different? He never asked for anything. He never asked for anything. He was always giving. And the good book says, give, and it shall be given, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. That's it. Give. It's a reciprocation. If you give, it shall be given. It's a push and pull system that allows you to walk through life giving and receiving, giving and receiving. And you can't receive until you give. Until you give. A closed fist can never get paid. An open fist will always be replenished every single time. It's the law of reciprocity. That's it. That's it. So if you put some work into it, TikTok it, go out casually, that thing will flourish. And I always tell people, I don't want you just to see the tree. I make myself the tree. I say, I want you to see the forest, which is Mr. Thomas, all the RDs on the call, all the RVPs on the call. Those are the people that I edify. So by the time they get on the call with Mr. Thomas, they can't believe it. It's really a Mr. Thomas? He's really talking to me? And then Mr. Thomas will always say, get with Mr. Foster, and we're going to work together with you. It blows their mind every single time. So I'm edifying somebody that they don't know. Why? Because everybody wants to be inspired. That's it. They want to be inspired. And most people have never met a gentleman like Mr. Thomas in their life. And you can conversate with him. Promote your leadership. And I guarantee your business will thrive. Mr. Thomas, that's been my time. I want to say TikTok. It's not a matter of time. It's just the time is now. Thank you, guys.